Join us for a review of the all-new generation Toyota Corolla. Let's go! Please subscribe to us if you haven't done so far, and thank you so much if you have already done so. The front of the all-new Corolla, it also depends on which version you have, so hatch, estate, sedan, and even sedan in Europe or in the US. Yeah, sometimes maybe a little bit strange. As for the design strategy, it's best to check out our other review where we have also the other versions to really compare them. Then this X shape there in the front, really interesting, blue Toyota logo because this one is the hybrid, so more about the engines. New very slim headlamps come with LED and optional even the matrix LED for the high beam. 4.65 meters, 15'3" or 183 inches is the length of the Corolla Estate. It's 26 centimeters longer than the hatch, also wheelbase, a little bit longer here for the Estate and also for the sedan version, so 3 versions overall. You can take a look at all 3 versions in comparison in our other episode. We will also link it in the video description and in the pinned comment, so be sure to check that one out after watching this one. Here comes with optional 18-inch wheels. They look quite sporty in this B-color scheme. No matter in which version, this new generation is longer, flatter and wider, and you can see it also here at the rear with a new modern signature as for the tail lamps. And you also get real exhaust pipes here for this hybrid engine, so a quite honest design here too at the rear. Engines: 1.2 liter turbo petrol engine, 116 horsepower, 1.8 liter naturally aspirated hybrid, 122 horsepower, then the 2 liter hybrid, this is the one we see here with 180 horsepower or 168 in the US, and this is about 7.9 seconds in the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. And in the US you can also get this 2 liter naturally aspirated engine just without the hybrid with direct injection. That would be another possibility, but hybrids of course the unique selling point, and you can see here 4 cylinders. Now to the interior with soft touch at the inside of the doors, pretty cool. Also a clean design right there, also good quality of the inner door handles. They have really worked on the materials, rather slim door pocket right there. There are some base fabric seats available, which are also quite good. And those ones here are the optional sport seats. They look really fancy, a little bit wider, maybe also good for taller people. And then fabric on the inside, and then we also have some microfiber inserts here, so a beautiful job they've done there. And now getting inside is easy, and as I said, the base fabric seats will also do just fine if you want to save some money, but those sport seats are actually quite voluminous and offer you a nice and comfortable seating position. They are manual here, front and back. Now the interior overview. We have a nice design element here with a soft touch leatherette style, red contour stitches. That is beautifully done. Then here a horizontal stress and also some new materials. So really upgraded everything steering wheel wise. Also soft touch here. Then there's this 8-inch infotainment screen, new in the US. You can get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. In Europe, Germany, they have not done it yet. The new Yaris, for example, gets it already, and then they will want to upgrade the new model years that, or maybe with the facelift and so on. For example, also recently the CHR with the facelift that also gets it now in Europe. So you have to ask your dealer if that is already included in the car you will buy. And then to those instruments, you also get one with a small screen as base, but here then with the 7-inch screen in the middle, and you can see the great fuel economy, for example. And on the left side you have a standard RPM meter, and on the right side the fuel status. Now the infotainment up close. The software is, let's say quite simple and pretty much outdated. Not that responsive as well, so I cannot really recommend it. As for the GPS, taking a look at the rear, it's really cool that we also have soft touch here at the inside of the doors in the rear. Hello Volkswagen Golf in the new generation. Yeah, Toyota has that. So, how things change. Then you can see here the front legroom right there is also better than in the hatch. It's of course because this one here has a little bit slighter, longer wheelbase. Just put a cabin trolley in here, how that one fits. Of course the estate is really good. As for the whole flexibility, you can see here even that works. And this cover has rails on the side and can be put back like this. So there's a very nice and clean solution. Also you have those rubber pads here, and then the luggage doesn't fly all over the place. Very nice. Then a lot of space underneath. You can also fit a replacement tire in there, and you can already flip the seats from here. Wow, that's just so easy and straightforward. I love that. Already now I'm in the EV mode again, so we're driving the 2-liter hybrid with 180 horsepower in Europe and 168 in the US. It always depends a little bit on the unit and emission and horsepower trim and so on, but of course the very same engine and HP trim. And the good thing about this hybrid engine is, of course, I would always take the biggest displacement with the lowest horsepower figure. That's the thing what lets the engines last longest. And the cool thing about this inbuilt hybrid system is, yes, of course, you don't have any stress with it recharging and so on, and you can still score some decent fuel economy figures. So you can drive this car with something between 5 and 6 liters on 100 kilometers, and that's clearly more than 40 mpg US and even more than 50 mpg UK. So some, when they really drive gently, can also score some 50 mpg US. It depends on when you drive long way on the motorway with high speed. That's not where this car, or where this hybrid system really feels super much at home. Then the economy is not that good. But the more you can get the benefits of the hybrid system, like running downhill now, then the EV mode is being activated again. Then at some point, of course, there's even energy being recharged into the battery. I also have this monitor here mounted in the front, so I can see that at the moment energy is coming back to the battery. Of course, rather the co-driver should take a look at that and not you as a driver while driving. But maybe you can also see it on our small camera a little bit. Now it's back the way back again, a little bit of uphill, then the combustion engine gets activated again just for a second, then the EV mode gets activated again, and so on, and the car is doing that all on its own. And now already fuel economy is dropping again because we're rolling or in this EV mode all the time. You also have this button where you can induce the EV mode if you really want that, when parking in and out. But usually it happens anyway, when you're easing the car in the driveway or in the basement garage, then the electric motor is activated anyway. With this button you can only stress that a little bit. Also with this driving mode selector, where we have normal and comfort, eco, or in the other direction sport, sport plus and custom, where you can set some different settings. The steering wheel input doesn't change majorly with that. It's a little bit, as for the throttle input, that does change, for example. And we also have the so-called AVS, that's their adaptive suspension inbuilt here. That gets a little bit stiffer than in the sports mode, for example. But the changes there from the driving modes are, they get the nice vintage BMW in front of us. The changes are rather minor with this driving modes, but it's also not the most important thing about this car. The most important thing is that, with the adaptive suspension, the ride is a little bit more comfortable than before. However, yes, we have to agree that suspension-wise, we have experienced better things before. Also, we recently drove the all-new Volkswagen Golf. Suspension-wise, the Germans are better in this case. But fuel economy-wise, that was also quite nice with the new Golf, but of course with those hybrid systems, it's even a little bit better, and you can have those EV driving moments. There's the Golf. But the, now say, predecessor, But what is to me better with this vehicle here, if we compare new generation Corolla and new generation Golf, this is still more straightforward. Wow, now at 4 liters on 100 kilometers fuel economy, wow, that's like more than 50 mpg US, yeah, rather close to 60 mpg UK, something amazing. And now let's go to Sports S Plus. Yeah, the Corolla hybrid with the Sports S Plus mode. Way to go, man. We're at 50 kilometers an hour and we accelerate to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. Let's see how that goes with this hybrid, and let's just hammer it. That's 100 kilometers an hour. You see, that was actually quite quick, so this displacement is helping us, and of course also the boost from the EV. I mean, yes, you still have this, you know, they have this eCVT system in here. Wow, that's blinding a little bit. I recently realized that always when I make the blinded by the light, the reference, I was like, oh yeah, way to go, Thomas. So why not? So acceleration actually quite nice. Just sound-wise, you know, because I use this eCVT system, which is not a direct CVT, but still has a planetary gearbox. If that tells you anything. If not, you can check it out on Wikipedia for something. It's, you know, don't need to go so much in depth on technology here. But at the end of the day, you know, you don't have like this classic gear change, which you know from a converter gearbox. You still have like this effect. That doesn't sound so good, but I think we can live with it, and especially when we have just a rolling. Now at 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, noise insulation is better than before, definitely. It's, let's say, okay, not bad, but there also we have some competitors which are better in the noise insulation. So clearly they do not pay so much attention to high-speed driving. But stability here is actually quite nice, and also suspension does a good job here. When I'm doing some lane change now, the car doesn't shake up too much, but you feel that the suspension is rather set on a soft tone and not on a very sporty one. So the Corolla doesn't want to be that sporty, especially not as touring sports or sedan. Even though it's called touring sports, but definitely the hatch felt, yeah, definitely a little bit more agile in this case, but that's also no wonder, definitely. Now here, in this roundabout, see here the steering gets a good feeling. Yeah, quite good behavior. Very neutrally balanced. Doesn't understeer too much. The steering is not super progressive, but I think they really found a nice natural balanced setup. So you have a good connection between driver, the car and the road. So it doesn't feel dead in any zone, and it doesn't feel computer game-like. It just feels, you know, pretty much right. So I think they're also done a good job there. And yeah, together then, for example, also with those seats, you know, they especially hold you tight in these corners, those sport seats, and, you know, with a nice fabric and Alcantara surface, so it's also a nice job. There it was the blind spot monitor, and when I would set the turning indicator, it would even issue an, you know, another warning. Now on the brakes, yeah, good feeling that. And now to our conclusion for today with the all-new Toyota Corolla. Well, in every single aspect this car has been improved. That is quite impressive indeed. Styling-wise, it's also with a fresh new front, definitely. Yeah, the hatch looks definitely sportier than the Estate version here. Yeah, you know, but the Estate then again has so much more practicability. There's a lot of space in the trunk, definitely. There's improved legroom, and of course, if you look at Sedan and Estate, they also in general offer more space and more legroom than the hatch version. That's very important. Interior quality has been massively upgraded if you compare it to the predecessor, and everything is very well and easy to use. Yeah, you know, with the flaw with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto missing for the European markets, that will be solved quite soon. So if you watch the review here in the later stage, that might already be solved. You have to check with your dealers if it's already available. Then, especially with those sport seats that are very nicely done, they also offer enough space for taller persons, and everything you know experience with this car is pretty much straightforward. You know, you don't have to search for things. Everything is on a very, very nice standard. And that's also probably the thing that is best with this car, because you have a good price-performance ratio, even if you spec this car in a very, very high way. Driving-wise, suspension is actually also at a good level. Could be maybe a little bit better if you compare it to some of the competitors. Also the high-speed noise insulation, but then again, on most levels, this car is also very good as for the driving experience, especially again in the fuel economy. If you look at this hybrid system, that worked very, very well once again today. So what's your take here on the all-new Corolla generation? Please leave us your feedback and also tune in next time, and especially be sure to check out the other Corolla review, where we have the hatch and the sedan in the driving, and also more impressions and even more information about this all-new generation.